Oh, we are great, thank you. I need to give you one of these.
That song was great.
Oh, brilliant. I can't hear you very well.
Oh, you know what? Here we go. You know what? I got to speak in the mic. That helps every time.
I need to give you one of these.
I got excited. I got excited. I was listening to that Jeff Bradshaw.
And welcome to the Smooth
All
Jazz
right.
Lounge.
How's it going?
Jeff Bradshaw said to say hi.
Oh, say hi for me. I haven't
Yes.
seen him in a few years, but he's
Oh,
fantastic. What
oh.
a talent.
I see you there with your cup of coffee.
Yes, yes. I had a workout, and I was helping my son with his homework, and he had a test, and it was crazy, algebra and geometry. So yeah, I'm recuperating.
It's all about homeschooling, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Well, they call it virtual schooling. So he has a teacher, but it's all through Zoom,
Hmm.
not unlike this. And in terms of working on the homework and just getting help with as opposed to him being at school, kind of working on the work and getting help from the teacher, that's where I step in. Me and my wife, but I'm the designated math tutor in the
How
house.
are you?
So,
Was you good at maths at school?
what's that?
Was you good at maths at school?
Well up through high school. Yeah, in high school I was excellent, but then I tried taking calculus in college and didn't go well. So I think I peaked in high school.
But you do have a doctorate, don't you?
Not in mathematics.
Not in.
It's in music. But yeah, I graduated from the University of Southern California, which is in Los Angeles,
Hmm.
and I finished my bachelor's in 2006, but the doctorate in 2010. And yeah, in studio jazz guitar, it's a musical arts degree, and so not so much math, but I know a
Right.
little bit about this guitar here.
Studio jazz guitar. Well, what does that involve? What did you have to do?
Oh, well, it's exactly what it sounds like, studio. So we did a lot of recording
Hmm.
techniques, and then a lot of jazz. So just studying the greats like Wes Montgomery and Joe Pass and Grant Green, and the list goes on and on. So it was really, really well-rounded program, and I directly started touring coming out of school. In fact, I remember in 2008, I walked into class one day, and one of my teachers got called to tour with the Manhattan Transfer. His name
Wow.
was Pat Kelly, fantastic guitarist, and he
Hmm.
couldn't do it. So I was the person he recommended, believe it or not, when I was 22 or 23. And so I went from playing around town. I was working all the time, but it was a lot of weddings and corporate gigs and church, and which is all great. But I went from that to touring the world with the Manhattan Transfer. I did that for 4 years.
Wow.
So yeah, and a
You
lot of
never
my
had you never had a proper day job, a
I
nine to five.
one summer I did construction and it didn't agree with me. Or construction sounds a bit too organized. It was more like a handyman, just a bit of construction, a bit of weed pulling, cutting back the brushes, just anything they could find have me do.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good for the hands, and so no. So I've been fortunate now. I've done a ton of things within the industry, producing, mixing, recording, touring in support of other artists before my solo career, got really busy, and then I do some teaching too. So I definitely stay busy in a variety of things, but fortunately, it's all been music.
Hmm. And so, with your teaching, do you teach guitar?
I teach a little bit of everything. I'm just at one college, and it's once a week. And So I have a few guitar students, a few bass students, and I also have an ensemble, which is everything:
Hmm.
bass, drums, keyboards, guitar, vocalists, horns. And so I put them in groups and help them work on repertoire. And so I have a lot of fun with that. Interestingly, it's all virtual right now, so it's hard to have an ensemble play together when they're all in different locations. So I've been having them do recording projects, and I'm so proud of them. They've just been
Ah.
completely just blowing me away with
Hmm.
the talent. And so it's not exactly what they signed up for, but they're getting some really great skills they're going to need going
Yeah.
forward. And it looks like we'll be back in person here in either in the next month,
Mhm.
but definitely if not, this term will end, and then I think we'll definitely be in person in the fall. Back in August. So yeah, so we'll get back there.
That was fantastic.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also, I saw somewhere that you teach private lessons, but also open counseling.
Oh yes, well that goes back to when I used to teach at a college called Musicians Institute, which is an incredible school. I mean, Norman Brown taught there. Who else? Alan Hines, Scott Henderson. Just a ton of just incredible players have spent time either going there or teaching there. So yeah, back then, this goes back a few years, but open counseling was really cool because students would come in and ask me a variety of questions. Sometimes they'd come in and say, "Man, I love what you played on this song on your first album. Show it to me." And then another time someone would come in and say, "What was it like touring with Jennifer Lopez?" And tell me about that experience. And then someone else would say, "Oh, I want to get into songwriting. What can you tell me about music publishing?" So it was great because you never knew what somebody was going to walk in with,
Yeah.
and so it was a great resource for the students, and I really enjoyed it too.
Hmm. And I think we all want to know what it was like working with Jennifer Lopez.
Ah. Yeah, well, that's going back a ways now. That was 2012, but yeah, I did a world tour with her, and we started off in South America, and then so first of all, we rehearsed for 2 months, if you can believe that. 6 days a week. I think it was like 10 to 7 every day or something like that. So yeah, so you asked if I had a proper job. That was my proper
Yeah.
job. But anyways, when we finally started touring, we went to South America, Central America. Then we did all of the U.S. and Canada. Then we took a couple weeks off, and then we went over your way. We went to Europe and made our way through the entire continent. And we did 2 nights actually at the O2, and we did a few other cities in the UK too. I think we did Manchester, and it's a while ago now. But anyways, yeah, and then we went to Asia, Australia, and we finished up in Puerto Rico. So it was a lot of fun. It was in the U.S. It was a lot of NBA basketball arenas, which hold around 2,000 or 20,000 people.
Wow.
And then in once we got over to Europe, it was a lot of the O2s. It was like every other day was an O2, 8,000 people, 10,000 people, or something. And the largest gig was in Azerbaijan. We played for 110,000 people. It was a soccer match.
Good heaven.
Football for you, soccer for us,
Yeah.
football match. And yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It was. It's interesting. Every tour has its different things about it. That tour definitely was a lot about the hype. It was one of the biggest tours of the year. It
Mhm.
was her first. Actually, that was her first ever tour of actually like going city to city like that, believe it or not. And she was coming off actually her biggest song ever. I think it was called "On Off the Floor" or "On the Floor" or something like that. It was actually her biggest song. So yeah, so it was a lot of fun, and we did a HBO special that people still remember me from, and endorsement wise was really great. I got a lot of free gear. Actually, this guitar I'm gonna play today
Uh-huh.
is actually from that tour, and I still use it to this day. It's an awesome guitar. It's a Paul Reed Smith. They're made in the East Coast, Maryland,
Hmm.
U.S. And
That was made especially for you.
yes, it was. That was made
Oh.
specifically for that tour. That's a funny story, actually. So they needed everything to be white, all the guitars, all the keyboards, all the drums, percussion. And so I had to find a company who would do that, and I needed it yesterday,
Yeah.
so I called up PRS, and they were just super awesome. And they ended up sending me 3 guitars.
My goodness.
Um, and also this amp behind me right here, I also got connected with them back then too, divided by 13. So yeah, so made a lot of really great relationships, and that just led to a lot of other things going forward, obviously.
That's just incredible. Was you exhausted during that time?
Oh, I mean, you get tired, but it's fun, I mean, if you're ever tired, once you go out on stage and see 20,000 people, it wakes you up. I think if it doesn't, then you probably shouldn't be there,
Yeah.
So, but no, it was a lot of fun. It's hard. The flip side is that you're gone, especially when we went to Europe, Asia, Australia. That was all one 3 month leg. So I live in the Los Angeles area, so I actually didn't set foot in Los Angeles for 3 months, and I was already married and had my son.
Mhm.
Uh, our son Adam Jr. and he was 3. So that's hard to be gone that long.
Yeah.
So that was the last really long tour I did. I really prioritized, first of all, working with artists that just went out for a little bit and came back. So that's when I started working with Brian Culbertson and then Dave Koz.
Hmm.
And then, of course, now prioritizing my own career. And same thing. That's what's nice about the jazz circuit. You'll go out and do 3 shows in a weekend, and then you come home, and then you see
Yeah.
your family again. Or in my case, my wife is in my show, so she sings, and so we're together the whole time. So we're just missing our son, and so it's definitely a better lifestyle. But no, that was a fun thing to do at the time for sure.
Yeah. And did you know that when you met your wife, did you
Hmm.
know she was an amazing singer at the time?
Oh yeah, yeah. So we met at church, and she was already singing at the
Right.
church, and I was the guitarist, and then I later became the music director, and then she later became the praise and worship leader. And so yeah, so we've been making music together from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Maybe not the first year or so, but I think I became music director maybe in 2007. So, and we met in 2005. So after a couple of years, we started working together regularly. And then as soon as I started doing my own shows, it was a no brainer. Started featuring her, and then she's featured on all of my albums as well. So it's a natural thing. We'll usually do a song from one of my albums, but then she'll also sing, accompany some of my instrumental songs, add some vocals to it, and so it's just great. It just adds a great touch, and
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt to have the female touch too. Instead of a bunch of guys up on stage, she brings some grace to the
Yeah.
stage. So so it's great. It just I notice it because occasionally she can't make a show, and those are still a lot of fun. But when she's there, it's just everything just kind of just comes up a notch.
Oh, you're
So
such
so
a
yeah.
loving couple. I love it.
Oh
I've watched your events, the Adam Hawley live events,
yeah,
and
yeah, and
and
yeah,
it's,
you can see. Oh, here it is. I had the wrong hand.
yeah.
There's the sign. Yeah, and shameless plug. I think it's the middle. If you guys are watching from the UK, it might be the middle of the night. But you always can watch the replay.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, I do a show every Wednesday. It's 6 p.m. in Los Angeles, and it's been so much fun. I've had almost everybody on: Dave Koz,
Wow,
Rick
it's been
Braun, Denise
incredible.
Williams, Paul Jackson Jr. Today I have a fantastic new artist, Riley Richard, that's
Hmm.
coming on. He's just coming off a #1 song on the Billboard
Yeah.
chart. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, she's a big part of that show as well. We co-host it, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I just love the way you host it together, and you just look so
Oh,
loving, and you look so beautiful today, darling. Like, oh.
well, no, a lot of times I start the show. She usually, unless she's singing at the beginning, she
Yeah.
usually comes on in the second half
Yeah.
hour. So a lot of times she's doing her makeup. I've already started the show, and
Oh.
so it's actually genuine. When she comes on
Oh.
screen, I'm like, oh, okay, hey. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you're a great couple. You really are. I have a question actually from Ellen.
okay.
Ellen says, can you select one of the many projects you've completed during the quarantine that you are particularly proud of, writing, producing, or recording?
Oh yes, yes. Well, and that's been. I mean, obviously, in a perfect world, we all would have hoped COVID just never happened at all. That goes without saying. But one thing that has come from it is I've always been producing for a lot of different people, but now it's just I'm doing 3 times as much as I was. So to answer your question, a really cool track I just caught it today on the radio. It's one I produced for Blake Aaron. It features Najee. It's called Sunday Strut. So if you haven't heard it yet, check it out. It's already going up the charts, and so I'm particularly proud of that song for a number of reasons. It was awesome to connect with Blake. He's such a killer talent. Najee is a legend. So
Yeah.
great to work with him. And also, it came together really fast. He called me and he's like, man, I need the first single. I need a single for my new album, and it needs to be done in 2 weeks. And we did it. We threaded the needle, and I have to credit him. He's such an incredible talent. So by all means, it was a team effort, but definitely super proud of that song. I actually have 3 songs on the Billboard chart as a producer right now, so I'm proud of all of those. Lisa Adeo, I did her new single. She's a great
Oh,
piano
yeah,
player.
I
High
heard one of
Heels.
her tracks the other day. What track is that one?
The one I did is called High Heels. It
Yes, I
features
played
Jeff Ryan.
that.
Yeah, yeah. So I produced that, and then the other one is Phil Denny and Ryan Montano. They have a song out called "Tough Get Going," and that one also is shooting up the charts. And so it's pretty cool. I feel super fortunate because all of these people I mentioned, they're just really great talents, and were nice enough to entrust me with their project. And
Hmm.
so yeah, so it's pretty cool. Those three are on
Oh,
the charts. And then my new single is just came out last week and is already doing well. So definitely having fun with that.
okay. I need to give you one of these.
Oh, all right. It's better to get the clap for a good reason instead of ironically. So that's good. I appreciate it.
So it would be lovely to get one of your tracks right now.
Oh gosh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
this is the first I've played all day. So we'll this is me warming up. Maybe I should pick something a little slower. I have to tune too. But yeah, you were asking for you know what? I'm gonna start off nice and easy so I can get warmed up. This is a
Yeah.
track from my newest record,
Mhm.
Escape, which came out about a year ago. And I've always been a huge fan of uh, this group SWV, and so I did a tune of theirs called Rain, and it's a song that's been in my show forever. And so after the show, people would always say, "Okay, what record is on that? I want to get that record, at the CD table." And I had never recorded it, so I finally recorded it. And so, anyways, this is my version of Rain.
Wonderful. Thank you. That was quality.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
Absolute
much.
quality. I feel embarrassed.
Oh,
When we spoke a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, do you need to do a sound check? You're like, no,
oh,
I'll be all right. I'll be all right.
oh. Well, it's great. I mean, now this is the norm. I mean, I'm doing virtual interviews, virtual concerts, virtual
Yeah.
festivals. So yeah. So I went down that rabbit hole. Got my act together.
Absolutely stunning. That really was the quality of that was
Oh,
just
thanks so much.
phenomenal.
Appreciate it. Oh, you're too
Yeah.
kind.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, what advice would you give to somebody who is a lot older than yourself, who wants to pick up the guitar and
Oh,
learn to play, like myself?
oh. Well, it's never too late. It's never too late to start. I'm always picking up new things. Learning new, especially new sounds, trying different techniques, different recording techniques. So that's the whole thing. That's the beauty of music. You never stop learning. It never ends.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's never too late to start. And then the best thing, and I tell everybody this, and it's completely true, to just do a little bit each day. So let's say if you had 7 hours to practice in a given week,
Hmm.
you would get so much more out of doing an hour a day as opposed to doing a cram session once a week, and like you spend all day Sunday, playing guitar, but then you don't touch it, because
Yeah.
it's all about muscle memory and getting your fingers to remember and react. When you tell yourself, I want to play this chord, and then you need your fingers to go to that. So if you have too much downtime, then every time you go back to play, you have to remember how to do what you were doing before.
Mm.
So consistency is the main thing.
Yeah. I'm absolutely terrible. I've had my guitar 10 years
Okay.
and I can barely hold it. It's an acoustic
Oh,
guitar, but I
yeah.
feel like it's really big
Oh.
and I just can't get my hands around it to play it.
Oh. Well, they have different sizes. Perhaps a three-quarter or a half size might be
Yeah.
better off with that. That might be something to look into.
Yeah, because that guitar
When
was a gift from guys at
Oh, okay.
work. Because I said,
Sure.
"Oh, I love the guitar." They decided to buy me one. I'm like,
Oh,
I should
that's
have said, I
nice.
wish I'd, I wish I'd said something else. I might have
Right.
got something else.
You should have said, I would love to get a three-quarter guitar. That would be just
Yeah,
so great.
I actually got Peter White to sign it, so it's gonna have some.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Well, maybe that can be on the wall, and then maybe you play maybe a
yeah,
slightly smaller one or something. Yeah.
yeah. Because I do feel it's got such a beautiful sound, and you look very relaxed when you're playing it. You like you go into a zone
Oh,
when you
well,
play.
I've been playing for what 17 years. So it's been a while. Or no, is that right? 17. I started when I was 9. No, 27 years. So yeah, so
Wow.
I've been at it for a while. Yeah, 27, because I started when I was 9 and now I'm 36. So yeah, 27 years. So I should hope I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you sure do. You sure do. And I have another question from David
Okay.
Schnashfold.
All right, what's up? How you
Yeah.
doing, Dave?
He says, "Are you hoping to head over to the UK for some gigs? We'd
I would
love
love
the."
to. All I need is an invite. So somebody invite me over. Let's go. So I've been over there many times. As I mentioned, one of those was with Jennifer Lopez. I was also over there with Sheila E. at one point, and also the Manhattan Transfer. With Manhattan Transfer, we played Ronnie Scott's, and with Sheila E. Gosh, if I wish I could. It was something about below the basement or the underground or something like that. But no, I haven't been there with my own music. So please let me know. Would love to come
Yeah.
over.
I think if three of us need to get together and get this sorted. Because David also
Oh,
said he loves seeing you and spending time with you and Kat in Mallorca.
oh, that was so much fun.
Oh.
Yeah, Majorca was incredible, and then right before this actually was right before the shutdown in November. I think I was in Portugal as well, and
Is that
with the
Dave
same
Cos's one?
no, no, with Christian, the same promoter
Oh, right, yeah.
that does. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, so it was so much fun. So yeah, would love to get back over there. And I also played in Madrid last April with Smooth Hot Jazz, and but yeah, it's a lot of Spain, a lot of Portugal. I got to get to the UK.
Yeah, you must do. We're gonna sort this out.
Oh, you're
Because
too
there's so
kind.
many artists that do want to come over. But I think during
Yeah.
this time, in lockdown, it's given us time to get together and talk things through. So I think,
Yeah.
hopefully by the end of the year, maybe a Christmas thing.
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
That'd be nice. That would be
So cool.
incredible.
Definitely.
So yeah, well, tell us about your album. Do you have, is it 3 albums that you've released?
Oh, I
Your solo
do.
albums?
Yeah. So the newest one, Escape, it came out about a year ago, February of almost exactly a year ago, February 28th in 2020. And I was so proud of it. Third album, it was my first as an independent artist. My first two came out. I was signed to Maurice White's label. Maurice White was the founder and one of the lead singers of Earth, Wind, and Fire. So it was amazing to start my career with his team and get the ball rolling. But for the third album, I went independent, and it was so incredible. I had the biggest selling album in the first week, jazz album. So that was so cool. I felt so fortunate. And yeah, so far I've had a couple number ones already. To the Top was the first track off of that, and then Escape. And really proud of this record. A lot of really cool special guests: Rick Braun, Najee, Michael Langton, Marcus Anderson. I'm missing somebody. I apologize, but yeah. So it's just been. Oh, and of course my lovely wife. She always shows up.
Oh,
But I'm
yeah.
missing one other person. It'll come to me.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, just really proud of that record. And I'm already on the next one. So I'm working. I'm right in the middle of really digging deep on my fourth album, and it's going to come out in September. And so actually just last week, just went in and did a 2-day session to record bass and drums and get all that sorted. And then I got a lot of tinkering for me to do. I got to do all my guitars and then get all the guests on there, all the horns and whatnot. And so really excited. So
Yeah.
we're moving full speed ahead for sure.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Martin Higgs says, was it Eric Darius, the other
Well,
person?
Eric was on my first album, and he was
Okay.
on a song called 35th Street, and yeah, that's a funny story. I've known Eric for a long time, and I ran into him. This is how it is in Hollywood. It's a Hollywood. It's a true Hollywood story. I was at some party, and I was actually the entertainment. I was just playing in the background, and he showed up. And so we were just chatting, and hey man, what's up? How you been? Blah 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 blah. And this was around 2014, and I said, well, I'm working on my first album. And he actually said, "Hey man, hit me up if you need anything. I'm around." I was like, "Oh, cool," And Eric already was a celebrated artist by then, and so I called him up, and he was the very last person to play on my first album, and then that became the first single, and that was still my biggest song to this day. It was number one for 5 weeks, and
Oh,
so it was. So I'm always grateful to Eric because he like I said, he put it out there in the first place. Hey man, hit me up. I just thought
yeah.
that was so cool, and the rest is history.
Oh. And you also played with Julian Vaughn.
So Julian was on my second album. He's a dear friend of mine. We've played on each other's records a ton of times. And but yeah, that was fortunately a big song too. He played on a tune of mine called Traveling Mood, and yeah, that's a fan favorite. People get mad. It's so funny too. I guess people are paying attention because there's been several times where I didn't play that song, and then people came up to me and kind of abruptly just, I think they're coming to me to say, hey, great show, or whatever. And the first thing they said is, why didn't you play that song? So that's become a fan favorite. So I pretty much always play it in every show. And yeah, Julian's such a great talent, really carrying the mantle, since we lost Wayman Tisdale, and he really picked up the mantle of lead bass and does it just in an incredible way. He just has a great sound.
And it's his birthday today as well.
It is. I texted him. I said, "Hey man, happy birthday!" And we're always chatting. We're on the phone like once a week, just talking about whatever business,
Oh.
talking about or not even. Sometimes
He's
we're just chatting about.
incredibly tall, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he played basketball I know he played in high school, maybe college as well. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a you know, I. I can't remember exactly. I want to say 6'7" or something. So yeah, he's a
Oh,
legitimate basketball size.
yeah. I saw a picture with him and one of our listeners here today, Sheila Singleton, and he just towers her. He's just
Yeah.
incredible. And that was
Well,
at his
even
birthday, wasn't it? Last year.
Okay.
At a birthday concert.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, the Sheila Singleton was there. You guys are so spoilt in the States. You know, you have smooth jazz on tap.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Well,
we
it's
don't
funny
have
you
that
say
much here.
it's funny you say about the height because me and Julian did a show together in Washington D.C. maybe a year and a half ago, and I didn't fare much better. You know, I'm just a shade under 6 feet, 5'11", and I looked very short too. So you know, it just it just goes that way.
And I have a question from Paul Williams. He's
All
another
right, what's up?
great guitarist. And
Yeah.
his great first album. He said, "Who did the
Oh, thank you.
artwork? It's very cool."
Oh, it sounds like you're looking for a graphic designer. I know, but we've chatted before on social media. So what's up,
Okay.
man? How you doing?
Oh,
No, I'm happy to share because everyone should hire him. He's so awesome. His name is Hiroshi Okuhara, and so he was the on staff person for Kalimba when I was with them, and then I just kept hiring him now for my independent projects as well. So yeah, he's awesome. He does artwork for a ton of different people. And the photos actually were taken by a friend of mine, a bass player. We toured together with the Manhattan Transfer. His name is Gary Wicks, and that actually was taken near City Hall, downtown Los Angeles,
is this
on
the
that first
one on
album.
the bench?
Yeah, that's right
Yeah, I
outside
do
City
love
Hall in
that.
Los Angeles. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, we just went down there and took a bunch of pictures, and that ended up being the one.
And I like the latest one as well, the album cover for your latest album.
Oh, thank you. So that's another musician. I really like hiring musicians as photographers because they kind of get it, And so he's a fantastic saxophonist named Dan Boise, and so yeah, so we took those pictures. He did my last two albums,
Mm,
and then Hiroshi did the design. But yeah, it all starts with great photos. So you got to get a great photographer, and
yeah.
a lot of people try to save money on that, but that's it's kind of unavoidable. You need a great photographer and a great graphic artist, and then you'll have a good cover.
And then going to the music, you need a great producer.
Oh yeah, well yeah, and that's a funny thing too. I'm always having this discussion with my clients too, and you know, uh, obviously we're all trying to find a way to do things efficiently and not break the bank, but at the same time, the music is the most important thing. So
Yeah,
you definitely want to. That's something I emphasize, of course, with my clients and my own music. The music has to be the number one priority.
yeah,
Because without that, what do we have? I mean,
exactly.
that is the medium that we're trying to get people to be inspired by.
Yeah,
So
definitely. So let's go back to your albums. So you've
okay,
got Just the Beginning,
yeah,
Double Vision,
yeah,
and Escape. So
yeah.
when you came up with Just at the Beginning, why did you call it that?
Well,
Tell me
it was a challenge to myself. I didn't want to, there's a saying we have, rest on your laurels. I didn't want to be content. Okay, I did that, and I really wanted to make a point to, as the title is, just the beginning. I'm gonna keep doing this and really make a point to make each record better,
that.
each record different. Not just repeat. Oh, that works, so let's do it again. Absolutely not. I'm always searching for new sounds, new styles, new grooves, and really make a point not to kind of retread any of the tire. And so yeah, so it was a challenge to myself to just keep pushing.
But it must be quite hard, once you've done the first album, that is great, then trying to better that with the second album.
Well, there's a saying, you have your whole life to do your first album, and then you have 18 months to do your second. So, and this is where, and it's something I was very conscious of. We have a ton of one-hit wonders, like either, and not just in jazz, just in any genre, for that reason. You're grinding, and you've gone through hundreds of songs before you actually put together that first album. Then to replicate that in a short amount of time is extremely, extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And so, but I was really proud of the second record, and yeah, you don't know until you put it out, but that second record had, fortunately, several, a bunch of hits on it, and I've been fortunate. Each record has outsold the one before, and all the singles have been received well. So we just keep growing. So I feel fortunate for it.
Good job. You're so good. You're such a nice, you're a genuine nice guy. You really are.
You're too kind. No,
No, you
you
are.
know, you don't have to have me on, so I appreciate the support, and I think this is an awesome thing you were doing. I was watching the interview earlier with Jeff, and if we could have about 10 or 15 more of you, we'd be in great shape because this is exactly what we need. So I appreciate every opportunity to share my
Oh,
music, and it's truly genuine. Appreciate the
yeah.
support out there.
Thank you. I have another question from
Okay.
Addy. And he said, who is your favorite musician to collaborate with?
Oh gosh. Well, that's hard to say because I've been so fortunate. I mean, gosh, I've had Dave Koz on my second album. Rick Braun was incredible. Marcus Anderson, he's been on two of my albums. He was super awesome. Marcus has been on I think three or four of my songs. He appears playing flute, and he's not actually a feature. In fact, my song with Rick Braun, he's playing flute on. So I hate to pick one because then I'm gonna get a nasty text when I
Yeah.
get off of this Zoom. But
Maybe, maybe choose one that is not alive anymore. Someone who's
oh,
passed away.
oh gosh. Oh, so is this hypothetical? Who's somebody
Yeah.
I wish I could collaborate with?
Hypothetical.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I missed that part of it. Well, there's so many, but I would have to go back to Grover. I mean, he just started everything off,
Mm,
so it would have been so cool to, even just to see him live,
yeah.
would have been just amazing. But then, to be able to make music with him would have been awesome too. So he's still an inspiration. I still go back and listen to those records, and what he did, is just phenomenal. So yeah, I'd have to put him up there for sure.
Yeah. His name comes up a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Artists. Yeah. And I understand why. And
Yeah.
Addy has another question. He says, what is the story behind your single 99 and Counting in the
Mm.
Escape album?
Yeah, so that actually it hasn't become a single, but it is on the new album, and it features Michael Linkton. And so that tune, you're always looking for a title, and titles are one of the hardest things in instrumental music, is finding something that really evokes the groove. And I felt like that song had a groove. It just kept going. It just didn't want to stop. And so I just kind of was playing with words in my head. And that's what I came up with, 99 and counting. And then it makes you think of what's after 99, 100, and it keeps going. And
Hmm.
so, it was kind of that. And then the story behind the tune is that was one of two songs I wrote in my hotel room in Tokyo back in, I believe, 19, and I was a special guest with Dave Koz at the Blue Note Club, and we went to Tokyo, Nagoya, and also Honolulu. And so yeah, so I wrote that song and also my new single Tokyo Groove. I wrote both of those in the hotel room, and that's one of the cool things about those club trips is that you're in one city for many days, so there's actually a lot of downtime. You're kind of sitting around, and that's when the inspiration happens. So I think I was jet lagged and working on both those songs at like 2 in the morning or something when I couldn't sleep.
Oh. So are we going to get another song from you?
Oh sure. Gosh, what should I play?
Well, you're not going to do Tokyo's Groove for us.
Oh yeah, that one's fast, but I might be warmed up by now. Yeah, I should play it because it's the new single, right? It just
Yeah.
came out a couple weeks ago, and so really proud of this song. And what's wild is this song was track one on the new album, and I purposely, when I was in the studio, I told the guys, "Hey, I just want to make a statement with this song. I want to just play. It's not a single. Sometimes with singles, you make them kind of radio friendly in a sense. And this one, I was like, no, we're gonna just play. And then my radio promoter picked it as a single. So, so I'm proud of this one. I really get to play some licks on this one. So I hope y'all enjoy it.
Wonderful.
go. All right.
Sensational.
Thank you.
Yeah, truly is. You play that guitar with such breeze, such ease.
Oh, you're too
But you can
kind. Thank
clearly
you.
see you studied it well and you deliver it well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely amazing. So, we don't have much time left. We only got 10 minutes left.
Okay.
But I want you to just talk about quickly the events you used to put on yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're talking about my Facebook show?
No, not your Facebook
Oh,
show. You used to put on
okay.
live events before lockdown.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
had started a really cool event, and it was a going towards a cause that was really important to us as well. So I had been doing a yearly Christmas show down in San Diego, which is only a couple hours south of where we are here in the LA area. And it had been really cool. I had a bunch of special guests. Some of them included Jakeem Joyner, Marcus Anderson, Greg Karukas, etc. And but more importantly, um, uh, we had been raising funds for the Arthritis Foundation, and it's something that's really close to our heart. My wife actually, she was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis when she was 17 many years ago, and so it's something that's something that we deal with daily, and something we wanted to bring awareness to
Hmm.
and raise funds for. So yeah, so we had done several live events, and then unfortunately, because of COVID, we did a virtual event this past Christmas, but in a way, we were able to have a lot more guests than we normally would because it was virtual, and we
Yeah.
still raised a lot of funds for the Arthritis Foundation. So this year, our virtual Adam Holly Christmas, we had Brian Culbertson, Jasmine Gent, we had Lindsay Webster, Marcus Anderson, and Jeff Ryan, I believe. So we had a bunch of different people that were just so gracious to donate their time. And so it was a very cool event. We're hoping that we can get back to a live event here in 2021. But if not, then definitely 2022. So yeah, thank you for asking about that. Yeah, it was a really cool thing, and even though we couldn't do it in person, we were still able to do some good this past year.
Oh, and you also celebrated your birthday not so long ago.
Oh wow! Don't. Why did you bring that up? I'm
I
ge- I'm
just
getting
love that
I'm getting
Mexican
old.
theme. That Mexican
Oh
theme.
yes.
Oh, it was
So
phenomenal. I
my
saw
wife,
the
Kat, she's
photos.
so sweet, and so it was a complete surprise party, and so yeah, so we did a virtual trip to Mexico, and so um, it was like going to a proper Mexican restaurant, or really going to Mexico. We had homemade tortillas, we had fajitas, tacos, homemade guacamole, homemade salsa. I mean, she went all the way in, and we even had she made homemade margaritas, and we even had the legit margarita glasses and the salt on the rim, and the so it was hard waking up the next day, but it was worth it. Oh, and then we had churros for dessert. So it was the
Oh,
complete experience. It was a blast.
yeah, it looked absolutely amazing. Absolutely
And
amazing.
then also the NFL was nice enough to schedule the Super Bowl on my birthday too. So I had a game all to myself to watch. So it was perfect.
Well, I have to say thank you so much for being
Oh,
with us today at the Smooth Jazz Lounge.
no, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're most welcome. And a lot of people have already put in the chat that they're going to be watching your event later. But those are the
Yes.
guys in America. But
Okay, fantastic. Yeah.
what time did
So
it start? What time did it start for you?
yeah, so it's 6 p.m. Pacific on the West Coast, 9 p.m. Eastern on the East Coast, and it's every Wednesday. We have fantastic guests every week. Today happens to be Riley Richard, fantastic saxophonist from the Cleveland area.
Hmm.
Next week we have Jasmine Gent. I have Rick Braun coming up very soon. Jeff Ryan. So yeah, we're there every week. And then if you're in the UK, I think it's the middle of the night, but
Yeah,
it
it's about
it
two
always.
o'clock in the morning for us.
Oh, okay. But it ends up as a post on my Facebook page, so you can always rewatch it the next day.
Yeah, I have been watching them. I watched
Oh,
the one with
thank you.
Elan Trotman the other
Oh,
day.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So, so
Oh,
good.
thank you.
Yeah, and you've been
Appreciate
doing it
it.
almost a year, haven't you?
We're coming up on a year, yes. So the wheels are already turning what to do on the special 1 year episode. But
Yeah.
yeah, because today is episode 48. So yeah, we're very close to 1 year.
Yeah. Well, congratulations with that. It is absolutely
Oh,
brilliant
thank
what
you.
you're doing as well. We love you. You're great. We need to get
Oh,
you over here to the UK as
yes.
your
Let's do
solo
it.
artist. Yeah. I will definitely be speaking to you again real soon.
All
Did you
right.
want to leave with another song?
Oh, if you're gonna pull my leg one more time, let me see. What do I have? Actually, this is perfect because you mentioned Julian Vaughn, and I have the track pulled up right here that we did together. It's a tune called "Traveling Mood" from my second album. So hope y'all enjoy it.
Fantastic. Thank you. Absolutely brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
And I have not been keeping a look on Facebook Live. We have some questions on there. I'm only going
Oh,
to read out one because I like this guy. And
okay.
this is from Swiss Chris.
Oh, okay. What's up?
Yeah. He wants to know how long does it take to produce a track from the first step writing until the radio station?
Oh, well, it's different every time. And often it just depends on the deadline. So I gave you kind of an extreme example, when Blake Aaron hit me up, and we did it in a couple weeks. But other songs, especially the songs on my first album, I started those in 2005. So I worked on them for 9 years, if you could believe
Wow.
that. So it really depends. But if I had to, I could get a song done in a week if I had to.
Okay.
If I just stayed at it and dropped everything, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes deadlines come up, but I would say it's usually a matter of months. From the time of writing and then getting, the all the other musicians on, and then mixing and mastering, etc. So yeah.
Fabulous. I'm glad. And it's nice to see Swiss Chris there. I haven't heard
Yes.
from him
All
for a
right.
long
What's up,
time.
Ed?
Well, thank you, Adam, so much. You have been phenomenal.
Oh.
You really have been. And I think you made a lot of new fans as well today.
Oh, well, you're too kind. I meant what I said earlier. It's very sweet of you to have me on, and really appreciate the support. So it was my pleasure.
Oh, you are most welcome. And I hope your event goes great later on. So how long
Yeah.
is it going to take you to prepare for that show later?
Well, normally I get ready right now. I start it at 3 p.m., which we're coming up on here in a few minutes. So,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, I have a few things set up since I did your show, but yeah, I'll start doing my sound check here in a little bit, and then probably take another shower since you got me working over here. So I gotta freshen up, and so yeah, so we're heading into the setup and the sound check here in a few minutes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I hope it goes well. I might even stay up and try and watch that.
Oh, you can do it. Get a little Red
Yeah.
Bull, or
Yeah. Or a
get
glass
some
of wine.
caffeine.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. Everybody knows where to get you, Adam Hawley. There's not many of you out there, is there?
Yeah, just adamhawley.com. Last name is Hawley, and you can get to everywhere there. I mean, obviously Facebook, Instagram, etc. And right now, with everything being virtual, the main thing is my Facebook page, Adam Hawley Music. So yeah, if you go there, you'll catch everything that's coming up, and there's a few dates starting to pop up. Definitely the second half of the year, I'm seeing quite a few shows pop up. So definitely look for that too.
Fantastic. And please do get his music.
Ah,
Buy his
yeah,
music. You must do.
and and you can get autographed copies from my website, or you can also, obviously, all the regular retailers, Amazon and iTunes and Spotify, etc. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm going to give you another one of these.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.